Welcome to the Mom Self-Care Podcast, your safe space to finally focus on YOU. I'm Chari Twitty-Hawkins, your self-care coach for moms, praying wife, and mom of four. And I know that being a Christ-centered mom is such a beautiful calling, but it can be so draining. That's why it's important to make sure you are filling your own cup. On this podcast, we'll discuss practical, holistic self-care strategies to help nurture your mind, body, and spirit. Because a mama who fills her own cup pours that back into her family with true peace and joy. Tune in for honest conversations about motherhood and self-care because you matter too. Blessings, mamas, and welcome to the Mom Self-Care Podcast. This is Chari Twitty-Hawkins, your host and self-care coach for moms, and I'm so glad that you're here. As you may be able to hear, I sound a little stuffy because I don't know what virus is going around, but my kids had it/have it, and you know what happens? When your kids have it, eventually, unfortunately, mama gets it too. So I'm on the mend while hubby is taking care of us. So blessed, so blessed. So for today's episode, I wanted to answer a struggle that I posted on TikTok, and I asked moms, what is your biggest struggle when it comes to self-care? And Jalen, and if I'm saying your name wrong, please charge it to my head and not to my heart. But Jalen says right now, adjusting to newborn life. She has the cutest little girl. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. She has other kids too, but her newborn is a little girl. And I'm telling you, it's like her mini me. So cute. But I just want to remind you, if you are in that phase of, having a newborn, and that was a long time ago for me, but I do remember those days of when my twins were newborns, and when even my youngest, who is 10 now, was a newborn. And just know that right now self-care might look a little different. You might not be able to get, because if you listen to my podcast in the past, you may not be able to get, like a mommication. When I was interviewing Tammy on our last podcast, when we were talking about marriage, if you need help with intimacy in marriage, go back and listen to my last podcast episode. But she said her favorite form of self-care is to go travel and get at least one day to herself a month. And I was like, oh, yes, that's what I'm talking about. Now, you may not be there, but just doing something small, such as maybe going outside and walking for 2 to 5 minutes, getting some fresh air, getting that vitamin D circulating. That can help your mental health so much. So make sure you're eating healthy, because especially if you're breastfeeding, you want to make sure you're giving your baby healthy nutrients. And even if you aren't breastfeeding, you still want to make sure you're eating healthy and you're exercising, whatever that may be for you. I didn't even know they did this, but you can look up walking workouts on YouTube, and you can walk like to music, to hip hop, to jazz, to worship music, whatever. And that's something that you could do right in your own home with your baby strapped to your chest or to your back, right? Because I know with my little ones, I had them wrapped around me. Ask for and accept help if people are offering to make you food. Yes, thank you, because then you don't have to make it. Ask for help, even from if you have younger kids or older kids. Ask them to help, have them help you. And then make sure you are affirming them and saying thank you, so that they feel like, okay, I'm contributing to this family. I'm doing a good job. Because some of us think, since our kids are young, they can't help. No, they can help. There's just age appropriate tasks that you give to them. So make sure you're not trying to be who you were before you were a mom. Because before you were a mom, you may have had all the time, been able to do all the things. But once you have that baby, especially depending on what happened, when you gave birth, you may have to take some, if you had a C-section, or y'all know what I'm talking about. You may have to have some time where you need to rest, and all of those things you're not going to be able to do. So ask for help and be okay with accepting help. Take time to pray. A lot of moms, especially moms who have newborns, they like you, and you may be able to relate to this, maybe feeling guilty because you're like, my relationship with God isn't like I want it to be. But guess what? God knows where you are. He sees you, and he will meet you where you are. So even if that's, hey, while you're feeding your baby, take that time to pray. Take that time to practice gratitude and be thankful. Or depending on how rambunctious your kids are, maybe you could do it when you're changing them, but maybe not. And then with all of this, as I often say, show yourself grace. Show yourself grace. So no, things may not look perfect. This is out of all the seasons of motherhood. No season of motherhood is about being perfect, first of all. But this one, just like a child was born, so is a mother. So you're going to mess up. Your children are growing and learning and becoming who they are. You are growing and learning and becoming who you are. So show yourself grace. Show yourself grace. Even if you've been a mother before, how many of y'all know? How many of y'all know that it does not look the same when you raising each child, should I say, does not look the same because our children are different. They have different personalities, different quirks. They need to be disciplined in different ways. So show yourself grace and know that it's okay to mess up, to falter, because you're learning who you are as a mom, even if this is your 4th or 5th time being a mother. So show yourself grace. And guys, if you have anything that you would like me to answer on the podcast, any struggles, any questions, feel free to email me at info@cicinspireme.com and I will answer it on the podcast. Thanks so much for watching. Share with the mom you love, leave a review, and save this and listen to it later again too. Until next time, take care. God bless.
Thanks so much for joining me for the Mom Self-Care Podcast. I hope you feel inspired to make yourself a priority too. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. Share this podcast with another mama you love and leave a review. Also, feel free to let me know what you would like to hear about in future episodes by visiting me on Instagram at @CICInspireMe. Until next time, take some time to take care of YOU because you matter too.